Hello, I'm going to do another Slitherlink demonstration for you. This one is going to show you the pattern of or the power of shading and how it can help bring about a solution. I'm in a 10 by 10 medium levels puzzle that is again from Crazy Dad Slitherlink. So please pay him a visit and show him some appreciation. Okay, so here is a mostly finished and mostly shaded puzzle. And I'll talk to you a little bit about shading first, and then I'll show you how it can help you with something that might be like a difficult solution. So, okay, so first of all, in this puzzle, yellow is inside the loop and blue is outside the loop. So one of the ways that I think of it, and it might be childish, but it really helps, is that the yellow is land and the blue is water. So that's where I get no islands, no lakes, which can help me to solve stuff, right? So lakes would be trapped water, and islands would be separate segments of land, right? Okay, so here is the principle of of shading, how it works. So threes, which have three segments and one open side, therefore are going to have three segments next to them that are one color, whether it's blue or yellow. So we have three yellows, and then we have one blue. So I'm looking at what's immediately above and below it and left to right. So here's one that it's got one yellow and three blues. And the way that is shaped is that you have a three that has a color, then one pokes out, and then the other color is like a U shape around it. Here we have blue. The blue one pokes out this way, and then there's a yellow U around it. And I'll get more into how that helps later. Okay, twos. Twos, like let's look at this two here. Twos have two inside the loop, two outside the loop. So in this case, two blue, two yellow. So here's two blues next to it and two yellows next to it. Ones. Ones have one of one color and three of another color. And then they're going to be the color of the one that there's three of. So it's like the opposite of a three, where there's always this T shape of one color, including the one. And then next to the one, there's one other color, is the other color. So the three is like one of one color, three of another. And it's the same color as the single color. Whereas the one is three of one color and one of another, but it's the same color as the three. Okay, so another thing to know is that anything outside of the grid is considered blue. It's considered outside because it is outside the loop. So if we look at like a three, so the three would have, here we would have one outside and then three inside. And this three has one inside and three outside. So with twos have one outside the loop here. So this has got one blue and two yellows because one is implied outside the loop. Okay, so let's look at how this is going to help me solve this particular puzzle. Now, I can see that, okay, so here's another principle. Where the blue and the yellow meet, that's where lines go. And I'll show you more about filling them in and when I get to a new puzzle, which will be in a minute. But for instance, here's this two. It's got two blues next to it. So I know that going to have 2 yellows in the other 2. So that helps me figure out where the rest of this goes. So this 2 has 2 yellows. It's got 1 blue, so this one must be blue. Okay? Now, if this one was, so 2s could be either in or out, right? You don't know if it's blue or yellow just by what's around it. However, you can reason it out. So first of all, I have a potential lake here, so I have to make sure it goes out to the edge there, right? And I have this big lake here. Got to make sure it goes out to the edge by putting a blue here too, which solves the puzzle. I just have to fill in the lines. However, another reason you know that is that if I made it yellow, then we'd end up with this here where we have this checkerboard pattern like that, which means that you would get segments that meet like that, and that is illegal. That's a Slitherlink sin. So it's going to be blue. It can either be blue or yellow. At least we have that much simplicity. And we can just fill in the rest of these lines here. Ta-da! All right, skipping to the next puzzle. We're just going to solve. I'm going to go through and I'm going to solve this puzzle while you watch. And at some point, I'll start using shading, because generally that's how I work. It's like I'll work until I'm bored or I just need some help, and then that's when I'll start using shading. I'm going to go at a relatively slow pace so that you can see what I'm doing. I'm not saying I'm like a genius and could go super fast all the time. I miss obvious things just like everybody else. But that's what I'm doing. Okay. I'm looking at my lines of 2s. I'm looking at my 3s for patterns. There's some 3s right there. Some 3s right here. Okay, before I fill that one in, let me go back and show you how shading works with this. Okay, so another aspect of using the shading is the layer cake effect. So I'm going to shade the inside of my loop here. And whenever I cross over a black line, that is the other color. That's you go inside the loop and outside the loop. So that's going to be true down here. These lines on the edge of the grid define an inside portion. So whenever you have a line on the outside of the grid there, you can go ahead and shade that as inside. And then we're going to cross the line here, and it's the other color, and cross the line again, and it's the other color. So that's what I mean by layer cake. It's like, Okay, and so now these X's mean the color continues, because there's not going to be any line there. And if I hadn't seen it already, there's my solution to that one and to this one here. So let's look at the colors on this one. This one has 3 yellows already, so that means this one is a blue. All right, now I'll put in my segments. Okay, we have a 2 here with 2 yellow. That means that the other 2 are blue. Now, here's the thing with ones. Once you get more than one of the same color next to a 1, it means it's automatically going to be that color, right? Because it's got 3 of one color and 1 of the other. So if it's got 2 of one color, that's your solution. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 in a T shape, and that's my solution for that. This 2 has 2 blues, 1 yellow. Let's stick another yellow there. All right. That's looking good. Continue those lines. Got a 1 with 1 blue, 2 yellows. Let's stick a 3rd yellow on there for that solution. And you knew that because of the way that 1s work already, but we're just going to use, we're going to use our shading to figure these things out. So same thing is true of 3s, but in reverse. Like as soon as you have more than one color, you know that it's the opposite color. And so that's the way that one goes. So we get blues in a U shape around the 3, and then one sticking out there because of the implied X right there. Okay, so let's look at this 3 up here. We also have, we need our 1 sticking out there and our 2 blues next to it. Remember, there's a blue implied out here too. Now here's a 1 with 2 yellows next to it. So it's going to be yellow 2. We don't know which side is going to be the blue, but there is going to be a blue. Okay, we got a outside here, which gives us 2 lines like this. And then what else? Okay, so we can whenever we have a black line running, right? We have our line that the color runs along the line, right? Even if there weren't X's there, you would know that those lines are blue because it runs along that line. Same thing is true over here because we're going to cross over the line into the other color and follow that line like that. Okay, so this too is interesting. It's already got 2 yellow and 2 blue, but we don't know where the lines go necessarily. They could go on the sides or they could go on the tops. It depends on the other things that are happening around it. Okay, so here's another 2 that has 2 yellows, 1 blue. Let's finish that blue. We have 1 yellow, 2 blues. Let's put down a yellow. 2 blues, 1 yellow. We need another yellow. And then I'm going to go back and finish these outside bits here. Okay, and we have some segments that have been created. So let's finish those. Miracle 2 here. And this situation like that. And these, we don't have to shade them, but they really do help. Okay, so this one, okay, now we got a segment right there. That's solved. Now here's our U that goes around the 3 and the fill of the 3, which gives us a nice set of miracle 2s. And that continues like that. Oops. Okay, and now I can follow my black lines all the way around here. And here's a blue segment. Because here's where like this logic can help. I know that I can't trap this lake, so this has to be blue because how else is it going to get out? I don't know from here whether it goes up or if it goes over, but I know that that one has to be blue, which then gives me a couple more lines to work with. And this too has 2 blues and 1 yellow, so this is yellow too, which again gives me this line because it can't cross over the yellow, which gives me 1 blue for the 1 and 3 yellows. 1, 2, 3. Fantastic. Okay, so that gives us our line going that way and one coming up this way. And again, we can't close off this lake. We can't isolate it from the edge. So this is definitely going to be a blue. Okay. And we have a blue one over here I didn't deal with before. Oh, we have yellow, yellow, blue, and blue. There we go, which gives us this 3. And the other 3 too. And this 1. Great. Don't need to, but I'll go back and finish this shading. Okay, now this one here has already been solved, so I'll put my X's on there for clearness. So this 2 has 1 yellow and 1 blue, right? No, it has another blue implied out here. So it has 2 blues and we'll give it 2 yellows. And because of our X's, we know that the color continues because the lines can't go there, and that solves this corner. Booyakasha. Okay, so we have this big lake here. Let's make sure it gets to the edge. Just make that one blue and that one. That does it. And then these ones here, well, let's finish up those segments. These ones here, these where the blue meets the yellow, I have to put some segments, which solves these ones, which means that this is inside the loop, and I can finish my puzzle. Love is trembling happiness. I don't know what that means. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to do another one or two where I show the shading, and I hope that this is useful for you. Again, you can always put me on double speed if it goes too slow. All right, catch you again later.